Hey YouTube, Rico Knows here. Going to talk to you guys about this breaking news. If you didn't see it, the NCAA and the Power 5 have agreed to allow players to be paid by the schools. What this means is we don't have to hide behind NIL and some other collective and all this other stuff. Nope. We can just put players on the payroll. We can start giving them the revenue sharing now. We can start ensuring players are paid by the school. What's next is contracts. And the minute you sign a contract, you can't be in breach of contract. I think this will help them out. But for the first time in over 100 years, or in the history of the NCAA, we're allowed to pay players directly from the school. Make it a part of the budget. Now, there is a limitation, and this is what matters. They put this limitation on it, and they said up to $20 million per year with its athletes. What that does is that gives the NCAA some relevancy here, because if you didn't put a limit, the NCAA can't have any rules for you to abide by. They have no guidelines to overlook or oversee. So they come up with this arbitrary number and say, all right, from now on, you got to be within 20 million. And if you're not, NCAA violation, right? So that makes them relevant. But what I got to tell you guys is the NCAA is one of the most worthless governing bodies I've ever seen. What really needs to happen here is conferences need to start negotiating with players' unions. And at some point, it's just going to be a collective players' union of all the players, somebody who speaks on their behalf and represents them and advocates for their share of the revenue in TV contracts. And the players at that time will then start becoming employees of the schools. And they'll get shared revenue while they're attending these schools. What also will happen, I think, in the very near future, is players will make more money than their coaches. I believe that the allocation of resources needs to adjust, and you can't pay these coaches the insane amounts you used to pay them because you need to pay for these football teams. So get rid of those multi-million-dollar contracts and make it a little more reasonable, knocking those down and allocating that money to the talent on the field. That's going to happen. Okay, so players are going to make more than their coaches, and coaches are actually going to get a reduction in salary. It's going to happen and then the next thing that happens is every single school is going to hire a GM. They got to have a general manager to build these rosters and manage these salaries. It's going to happen. And it can't just be your athletic director. It can't just be some guy in charge of NIL. All that shit, they're going to go away. The NIL shell companies that are really just money laundering and pretending to be some type of entity that gives money to the players, no, it's coming from the school. Now we can have coaches negotiating the contracts. Yep. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a shift all the way around. By the way, this is all coming from a lawsuit. 3 lawsuits to be exact. And you're going to see this woman's name a lot. Judge Claudia Wilkin. She is the savior. She's the one who decided, yeah, players can get paid. Let's go. This is antitrust. And all that means is there's a monopoly here, and they're not giving these players a chance to earn money equally, or at least give them the right. After you're done playing, you start looking around going, why did these schools get all this money from a TV contract, but the guys on TV didn't get paid? That doesn't even sound right. Right? That doesn't sound American. That's not the American way. So here you have this whole thing going, and shout out to them. There's also a class action lawsuit. You know, you can go get your all Division I athletes dating back to 2016. You're eligible to receive a share or a part of the settlement class. Go and get your stuff, man. There's a settlement out there. $2.7 billion will be paid by the NCAA to former athletes because they owe them money. They made too much money, guys. I don't want to use the term, but I'm going to let you know. Slave wages. They got free labor. That's what it is. That's what it is. The only slaves I know in modern day society are Mexicans, just so you know. Shout out to mi gente. But this right here, these guys are going to get compensated. Ex-athletes are going to get paid. And current athletes are about to become contracted employees at some point. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. We saw this coming a mile away. Shout out to everybody out there. Peace.